everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is actually highly requested after I did my whispered facts about the universe video. I got a lot of requests to do a facts video about the ocean, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know why I didn't think about it before, because I love the ocean. Like, a lot of animals scare me, but I love sea animals. So, let's get into it. Around 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by oceans. The largest ocean on Earth is the Pacific Ocean, covering around 30% of the Earth's surface. The name Pacific Ocean comes from the Latin name Tepre Pacificum, which means peaceful sea. The deepest known area of the Earth's oceans is known as the Mariana Trench. Its deepest point measures 11 kilometers. That's a long dive down. The longest mountain range in the world is found underwater. Stretching over 56,000 kilometers, the mid-oceanic ridge is a mountain chain that runs along the center of the ocean basins. About 70% of the oxygen we breathe is produced by the oceans. The sea is home to the world's largest living structure, the Great Barrier Reef. Measuring around 2,600 kilometers, it can even be seen from the moon. We have only explored about 5% of the world's oceans. The sea can be described as the planet's mega museum. There are more artifacts and remnants of history in the ocean than in all of the world's museums combined. The majority of life on Earth is aquatic. As so much of the Earth's surface is underwater, it comes as no surprise that marine species outnumber those on land. But it's an incredible 94% of the Earth's living species that exist within oceans. We still only know a fraction of the marine species in our oceans. According to the World Register of Marine Species, there are now 240,470 accepted species, but this is believed to be just a small proportion of the species that exist, with new marine life being discovered every day. It is possible to find rivers and lakes beneath the ocean. When salt water and hydrogen sulfide combine, it becomes denser than the rest of the water around it, enabling it to form a lake or river that flows beneath the sea. Around 50% of the United States lies beneath the ocean. Not only does a large part of the planet exist beneath the ocean, so does the United States, around 50% in fact. The Pacific Ocean is the world's largest ocean and contains around 25,000 islands. We didn't send divers down to explore the mid-ocean ridge until 1973, 4 years after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon, when a French-American crew of 7 entered the 9,000-foot deep Great Rift in the French submersible Archimede. The ocean boasts an array of unusual geographic features such as pillars that reach several stories high and chimneys that send up sulfuric acid. In the ocean floor neighborhood of the Gulf of Mexico, brine pools mark the floor, along with underwater volcanoes that spew mud and methane rather than lava. These wonderful formations aren't barren either. Underwater hot springs that shoot water that's 650 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead, boast a profusion of life, from 10-foot tall tube worms to giant clams that function without digestive systems. Many of the rules that apply on land are turned upside down in the ocean, some literally. Beneath the surface, often not far from popular vacation beaches, are underwater lakes, waterfalls, and even upside down lakes. Much of the life in the oceans, as on land, is invisible to the naked eye. For instance, if you've ever swallowed a milliliter of ocean water, know that you also gulped 1 million bacteria and 10 million viruses, give or take a few. No need to worry though, swimmers around the world swallow some ocean water during their ventures into the water without ill effects. Extreme temperatures aren't the only seeming barrier to life, but again the laws below the surface differ from those above. The immense pressure of the water on a human diving to greater depths is one of the biggest hurdles to exploring the deepest parts of the ocean. Yet at depths that would crush the Titanic like a Coke can, crabs, octopuses, and tube worms go about their business. Did you know that an octopus's speed of travel never exceeds that of the surrounding waves? That same octopus employs amazing camouflaging talents, changing color, shape, and even its texture, pattern, and brightness to blend into its surroundings. Another example is the male squid, which turns a warm brown color to attract females, or white to warn away interloping males. Most intriguing is that the male never shows its white, aggressive side to the female. In a colorful show of marine multitasking, the male squid will turn the side facing his prospective mate the welcoming brown, while simultaneously turning sideways so that she can't see. He made his outward-facing flank white, so he can have two different colors at the same time. The blue whale is not just the largest animal in the ocean, it is the largest animal on Earth. In fact, they're larger than any of the dinosaurs were. Weighing in at 144 tons, they're heavier than a Boeing 747. A single adult blue whale can consume 3,600 kilograms of krill a day. The average ocean depth is 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers. The first ocean to be crossed by an airplane was the Atlantic Ocean. It was also the first ocean to be crossed by a ship. Vampire squid live in Monterey Bay. They're called vampire not because they drink blood, but because of their high intelligence. They've been known to create complex geometrical patterns. 14 billion pounds or 6 billion kilos of garbage are dumped into the ocean every year. Most of it is plastic. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, also described as the Pacific Trash Vortex, is a gyre of marine debris in the central North Pacific Ocean that was discovered in 1985. Contrary to media portrayals of the patch as a giant island of garbage, it's more accurately garbage soup, areas of water with a high concentration of microplastics. The deepest part of the ocean is called the Challenger Deep and is located beneath the western Pacific Ocean in the southern end of the Mariana Trench, which runs several hundred kilometers southwest of Guam. Challenger Deep is approximately 36,200 feet deep. If we could capture just 0.1% of the ocean's kinetic energy caused by tides, we could satisfy the current global energy demand 5 times over. 29,000 rubber ducks were lost at sea in 1992. These ducks are still being found, and paying attention to where they wash up and travel to has revolutionized our knowledge of ocean science. The Atlantic Ocean is big enough to let every person in the US have their own cubic kilometer in it. The world's oceans contain nearly 20 million tons of gold. Cuviers or cuviers, beaked whales, are the deepest diving mammals. They've been recorded to dive to a depth of 3 kilometers for over 2 hours. In Newfoundland, Canada, when the Atlantic Ocean freezes, people play hockey on it. At the ocean's deepest point, the water pressure is the equivalent of having 50 jumbo jets piled on top of you. Even Chuck Norris wouldn't survive down there. Humans have proven that we can build technology to endure such pressure. In 1960, Lieutenant Walsh and his Swiss colleague Jacques Picard reached a depth of almost 36,000 feet in a submarine. The dive to the Challenger Deep took nearly 5 hours, and the men spent 20 minutes on the bottom of the ocean. Sharks first appeared in our oceans 400 million years ago. They've survived 5 massive planetary extinction events. These extinction events killed almost all life on Earth. The last one occurred around 65 million years ago and killed the dinosaurs, but not the sharks. Those miraculous saber-toothed critters are here to stay. Jellyfish have been in our oceans for more than 650 million years. This means they outdate dinosaurs and sharks. They also seem to be resistant to fishing. In 2006, a Japanese fishing trawler tried to pull in nets of dozens of jellyfish. These are massive critters growing up to 2 meters in diameter, and the boat capsized trying to reel them in. In the Bermuda Triangle, at least 1,000 lives have been lost within the last 100 years as a result of ship and airplane crashes. When ships go missing in the triangle, debris often cannot be found because the Gulf Stream quickly gets rid of it. The sperm whale's huge head, which is up to 1/3 of its body length, houses the heaviest brain in the animal kingdom, weighing in at a whopping 9 kilograms. This is still relatively small considering sperm whales weigh 15,000 kilograms. The US Army admitted it secretly dumped 64 million pounds of nerve and mustard gas agents into the ocean from 1944 to 1970, along with 400,000 chemical-filled bombs and more than 500 tons of radioactive waste. It is okay to pee in the ocean since 95% of urine is water, and the nitrogen in urine is used to feed ocean plants. A man called Harold Hackett has put over 4,800 messages in bottles into the ocean and has gotten 3,000 responses back. Electric eels produce enough electricity to power 10 electric bulbs. If you were to encounter a shock from an electric eel, it could kill you, although there are a few documented instances of people dying from an electric eel's shock. A single jolt could incapacitate a person long enough to cause drowning. Multiple shocks could cause heart failure. Before compasses, Vikings navigated the ocean using birds, whales, celestial bodies, chants, and rhymes. In 3 decades, the world's oceans will contain more discarded plastic than fish when measured by weight. Harmful algal blooms caused by an excess of nutrients have created nearly 150 coastal deoxygenated dead zones worldwide, ranging from 1 to 70,000 square kilometers. This basically means that the fertilizers feed algae, and as the alga population booms, they slurp up all the oxygen. As oxygen levels deplete, other marine life struggles to survive. Europe and Africa are only separated by 14.3 kilometers or 8.9 miles of ocean, and there are talks of creating the longest bridge ever to join them. Jellyfish are the ocean's most efficient swimmers, consuming 48% less oxygen than any other swimming animal. Scientists have discovered that deep beneath the Earth's surface lurks an enormous reservoir of water 3 times the size of the oceans. Compared to how deadly they actually are, sharks get an unfair amount of fear and criticism. More people are killed every year by falling coconuts in Asia alone than people being killed by sharks around the world. The most dangerous creature in the sea is the box jellyfish. These things don't have a venomous bite, rows of sharp teeth, or even an obvious mouth for that matter. But nevertheless, the box jellyfish, also known as the sea wasp, is more responsible for human deaths on the continent of Australia than snakes, sharks, and saltwater crocodiles put together. As many as 100 million sharks are killed each year for their meat and fins, which are used for shark fin soup. Hunters typically catch the sharks, defin them while alive, and throw them back into the ocean, where they either drown or bleed to death. Reefs protect human populations along coastlines from wave and storm damage by serving as buffers between oceans and near-shore communities. Despite all the havoc being wreaked upon it, Great Barrier Reef is still the largest living structure on Earth. It can be seen from the moon. Let's see if I can find any more. Yeah. The Atlantic is home to its fair share of icebergs and is responsible for sinking the Titanic. Icebergs can be commonly found in the Davis Strait, Denmark Strait, and the northwestern Atlantic from between February to August. They can even be found as far south as Bermuda. In 1928, Amelia Earhart was the first female aviator to fly solo across the Great Ocean. In the topic of flights, Charles Lindbergh was the first person to fly a non-stop transatlantic flight in an airplane in 1927. Atlantic is derived from Greek mythology, which means Sea of Atlas. According to Greek mythology, the Titan who stood at the edge of the world and carried the heavens on his shoulders due to punishment from Zeus was known as Atlas. Great Britain, Ireland, and Cuba are some of the largest islands in the Atlantic Ocean. It is believed that the Atlantic Ocean separated from the Pacific Ocean about 3 million years ago. Alright, I think that's it. A lot of facts repeat themselves, and a lot of websites only had 10 facts that were all pretty much the same. So I went through about 5 different websites, and I hope that it was somewhat interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.